Hey, how's it going? Got a couple of cards that I pulled that I would like to read for you. So, I pulled first the number 62 card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Jeez. What the heck? These. And then I also pulled a second one, but I'll just tell you what it is. I'm not going to start with it, but what the heck? I already started saying it, so I pulled the Phoenix card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And this is sort of there's a section that's not strictly animal. It's sort of like mystical, mystical beings like a phoenix or the cosmic egg, which I've done a video with that card. Also not an animal, has an animal wrapped around it. Don't want to get sidetracked, that's been a problem today. So number 39 of the Shaman's Dream Oracle is the Will-o'-the-Wisp card. Treasures hidden in the shadows. So, like I've said, I pull these to kind of give like a flavor of the day kind of a deal. And not personal. I'm not like pulling them for my own personal questions. But I look at this and I thought about what was happening today, and it was that something really unusual was happening in the war between Ukraine and Russia. Ow, kitty! Toenails, dude. Anyway, so it seems like Russia is not doing that well. I mean, what they're saying is they're doing great, but it sounds like they got problems at home, they got problems on the battlefield, and they have problems with this General Prigozhin, I think his name is, and he heads a militia called the Wagner Group that is sort of, I guess you could say they're like the Kremlin hit squad, but sort of the dark ops team, also wet work team. They're just I guess they're known. I just heard of them for the first time this year, when the war started and they joined the fight. But I guess they've been known to go various places, like I said, as the Kremlin hit team, and kill people and, do this kind of stuff that people do when there are wars, where it's kind of like nobody's really looking too hard to see if you're doing any kind of depraved kind of thing, or, something like that. But it sounds like there's a lot of fear around these people, and it doesn't sound like anyone really tells them no, but it sounds like there's blood in the water. As far like Putin is displaying signs of losing confidence, and various sources have come out and said that he's in bad health. And this past year, somebody in the media. Someone in the media found out that he had gone somewhere outside of Russia for treatment, and it turned out the treatment was for cancer of a very, like a bad one. And he's got it pretty badly. There was a rumor some months ago where he, I don't want to say that he relieved himself, because that's kind of like something you do voluntarily, but it sounds like he lost control of his bowels in a public area, and I don't know if you know much about that guy, but it seems like he has a giant ego, and that wouldn't go over so well for. I just think it would badly affect his mood and make it really uncomfortable for anybody that has to be around him attending to him. And I don't think he's a good loser. So the Wagner team was in Ukraine acting very incisively and, being very dangerous. And then I just heard today that I guess they turned on Russian troops, and the Russian troops are not, like, the whole time, the actual people that wanted to be in the army that, like, voluntarily joined, I don't know if they have, like, you have to conscript. I can't remember the word. Obligated. Are you obligated to join? Do you have to? Are you just drafted? There's no choice in the matter. I don't know. I would have checked, but I didn't know I was going to be talking about this. But I guess that they got to Ukraine and were, like, doing the war job for a while, fighting. And then it got to be like the supplies were no good, or they stopped coming enough. And the soldiers they ran out of people that wanted to be in there being soldiers, and they started taking people from the jails, from the prisons. And that's not necessarily soldier material. And it's also not necessarily people that are going to just, once they're out of jail, if they can sneak off, I'm sure they are, because from one bad extreme to the other, I don't know. So the reason why I'm talking about all of that is because it looks like it's going to change the whole tempo of the war. Because it sounds like the Russian people were already given everything they had, like, for the state. And unless you were one of the oligarch people or other type of criminal, because apparently the oligarchs there did not come by their money honestly. So, there's the rich class, and then there's everybody else. And if everybody else is fighting over what's left, like, I don't think Russia was doing that great before the war, economically. I know people have been leaving to come to America for years. The neighborhood I grew up in LA, in Hollywood, it became at one point just all of a sudden everybody was Russian. And it's fine, but it's just like, wow, that was like a big influx. They totally took over a whole neighborhood. Like, mostly, it was noticeable. I mean, Russian stores started popping up with Cyrillic, and you could hear it everywhere. And they were not, like, super friendly to me, but I think that was, like, a racial thing, because they don't like white people any better there than they do here, the ones that don't like us. So they weren't, like, super friendly to talk to. And I didn't keep trying after a couple times. Like, if you're just not going to talk to me, okay, whatever, never mind. But I would have asked them, like, what the heck's going on over there? What's it like? I mean, did you come here because you wanted sunshine, or because you could, like, have a better life? And I suspect it's both of those things. So it just sounds like the whole thing is a hornet's nest over there. Like, inside the country, socially, it sounds like that was already sort of unstable. I know for the past 3 Christmases in a row, there's been an ad that comes on, like ads do at that time of year, for desperate donations. And this is for people. This isn't like a political donation. So not as annoying, but I was just like, it's for the Russian Jews that they're always saying they need food and they need blankets and they need clothes, because if they need those basic things, like if you can't get food, clothes and blankets enough so that that there needs to be an ad drive, a pledge drive, that's not good in country, right? And then like I already explained, like the situation, that's I'm sure just part of it with the fighting over there. I didn't even talk about like the regular army that they sent in the first place, and they were like running off almost from the beginning. I mean, it just makes you think that they were like, I'm free, let me out of here, I don't care where I gotta go, but I ain't going back to Russia. And I could see there's like a lot of I feel like that country, like Saudi, for instance, that they killed that Khashoggi guy that had, moved to America, was becoming an American citizen or was a citizen, and I don't know where I got this idea, but I think that Mad Prince, he was a dissenter, Khashoggi, and you're not allowed to say bad things there in Saudi about the leaders or the country like you can here, although people are forgetting that you're supposed to be free to do that here, but it's still on the books, right? But not in Saudi. So you don't dissent. Like, that dude will kill you even if you go to another country. Like, as far as that guy was concerned, Khashoggi was still a citizen of the country that he came from, that the Mad Prince rules, and I guess only he can say if you can go or not. But I've since learned that there are a lot of countries, and I think Russia is also one of them, where if you leave, they're just we're just still going to keep track of you, and if you do something or say something that we decide we don't like, we're going to poison you, or you're going to fall off a building, or any one of those accidental we didn't do it's that are always around stuff they're doing and people that they're having to do with. So it's kind of hard not to think maybe they have something to do with the poisonings and these deaths that are like, it's actually, I don't even think it's just Russian. I think it's an intelligence service kind of thing where you just want to get rid of an inconvenient person for whatever the reason, and it's so easy to just give them a shove and they fell. And I don't know why they think either country you could do that more than 3 times and still think you're fooling anybody, especially if there's a story going on around it, but sure, go ahead and delude yourself. Anyway, my point is, it sounds like it's not a pleasant place to be in, or if you decide to leave because of that, it kind of follows you. I don't know. I don't think any of the Russians that moved to my neighborhood in Hollywood were dissidents, because nobody was mysteriously murdered that I know of. They might be one of those people that don't talk to police because they had not great experiences with police in their own country, and I'm sure they've heard things. But I don't think it's like a fear. I don't even want to go into all that. It doesn't even matter. Point is, and what it has to do with the Will of the Wisp and finding treasure in the shadows, I think the treasure having to do with Russia and Prigozhin and Ukraine has to do with, even like, forget all of the stuff I just said about the war in Russia. Putin is like in his 70s. You gotta step down someday, dude. Like, you're not gonna live forever, and people are not gonna just be all following your dictates if you're dead. And you are making people, I think, want to get rid of you because it's, from what I just said, and it's like half speculation and half stuff I watched on the news or whatever. It don't sound good over there. It does not sound like the people are happy, and it just sounds like he keeps making terrible decisions. And It's so funny the way this works, but when there's rich people, there's only a few to them per capita compared to everybody else. So, I know that there's a bunch of people here that are sick of the really wealthy people trying to run everything, and it's like, no, you get to run your patch, your vote, what you bought, but it's beyond that. They are like mad money princes because they think if we have money, we're just gonna make you do it, and you're just gonna do it and shut up. And no. So it might be a good thing for Putin to go. He's sick. He's that age. I think people are ready for him to go. He could have gone. He may still be able to go and not get killed, but I don't know if he's going to do that because he's that kind of guy. Ego, got to be in control, never wrong. But I think he's afraid of everyone around him, and I know that he feels weak because he's sick, but also I think the distancing might have started with COVID, but I think he kind of kept it around because he's paranoid as S. And also, oh my God, there are suspicions out there that he's on speed too to try and have more energy than he does because he's sick, and he's probably tired too, trying to run everything. And the person that said it was so funny. He thinks he's on crystal method, and at least not. Oh, methadone. That's what he said. Crystal methadone. And I'm like, no, that would be a speedball. Drug talk. But anyway, I think that it would just be like a treasure out of all the darkness to have Putin gone. And while Prigozhin doesn't sound like the kind of leader you want either, or the kind of leader that I would want because of his history, but I think Putin came from that same kind of history. Although he was in the army, I don't know that he had like a hit squad, but I don't think he would be against it. So they might get rid of Putin and end up with Prigozhin, and he probably would not be better. But the thing about him is he is also old as dirt. And I don't know, people, if they are able to get rid of Putin and people actually get to have a hand in it, they might feel braver if this other guy comes in and he doesn't treat the country and the people well either. His days might be numbered too, and not just because of his age. So, I'm actually really not gonna read the card, because the thing about it is there seems to be a theme. I guess I'll read a little bit of it. The profound shift of an epiphany can occur only when you risk the detour and enter the unknown. Now is the time to trust higher forces to lead you into this place, these worlds hidden at the threshold between what was and what can be. Oh, now's the time to trust higher forces to lead you into this place, these worlds hidden as the threshold between what was and what can be. Here is what you will learn about your own unmaking. Unmask yourself. Love what you discover, dark or light. See it all as divine, and find a quiet thrumming power waiting for you to channel it into the world for good. The treasure you find, filled with the wealth of love and kindness, true prosperity, is ripe to share with others. She is here for you now. Will you accept her invitation? Great bounty or goodness await you. Maybe I should have read all of it. There was a part in here. What I just read, it seems like that has been like a theme, like going through a darkness and finding light, and that's kind of always. But the will of the wisp comes and goes, and if you're able to engage with it, then you're lucky. But So, okay, said all that about like the war and the changing times that could be happening in Russia. And the other, like I said, the other card I pulled was the Phoenix from this one. And it goes on like quite a long while, or longer than I want to shorten it, but let me just shut up and read it. Freedom from suffering and past karma, reincarnation. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique. Whoa, it scared me. The Phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication, tapas. The essence of the Phoenix is with us when we realize we have been suffering too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that very moment, the spark of the Phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes, and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the Phoenix lifts our spirits up, and we begin to recognize ourselves. Again, we may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely. It's a sign that the fire of transformation is upon your wings. And there's like another part. The Phoenix in the first chakra. The ancient yogis believed that our heaviest karmas reside in the first chakra. This earthen center is also called Muladhara, our root. The ascent of the Phoenix begins here, and as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, it rises from the ash toward the navel center. Again and again, it makes this journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. That's interesting. It sounds like a bunch of your old stuff just slides into some chute somewhere inside of us somewhere, and the Phoenix energy burns it. And the going back and forth from the first and third chakra, that feels like it makes so much sense to me, because it's like the going through the thing over and over and over until you get it right or get it perfected. But the thing about this line here, for some reason it really reminded me of that war that I was just talking about, and those sort of dynamics between those countries and those people. And it was, okay, I'll just read the whole 2 sentences. The Phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. So I kind of feel like the Ukrainians are the Phoenix here, because they have been going back and forth for like a decade or more with Russia about their territory. And Russia just, they're like the people with the Civil War here. Like, you've lost, get over it. They're the same way with the Soviet Union. A bunch of people here don't want to go back to the times that were like times like before the Civil War or way after it for years and years and years. A lot of us don't want to go back to any of that. Probably Ukraine has had enough of Russia nibbling at their edges, constantly saying that you're us. Like, when people are insisting things to you and you're like, no, that is not me. That's what you think. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. It's me. I know. And I feel like that's kind of how the Ukrainians have been. Like, they just kind of have been taking it, and they made some decisions that didn't help them early on. Like, they gave a lot up defensively in order to sort of placate Russia, to like get them to leave us alone. But they Putin, the Kremlin, they just won't. They're always trying to come up with some minute to inch further and further into their territory. And I think that, I mean, I guess they thought they were just going to be all, you're weaker, we're going to declare war on you, and it's going to be over in a week. And that worked about as well as it did when we went into Iraq. Not at all. The Ukrainians are sick of it, and they asked for help and finally got it, and I don't know why everybody else was waiting for us to help them, because it seemed like things didn't really pick up that much around them until things really got rolling and we started to help. And I could be wrong about the timing on this, because of those countries around Ukraine were former Soviet bloc countries, I'm pretty sure. But there are a couple that are sympathetic to what Putin wants, and apparently what Trump and the people that admire him and are around him also want is, they don't want democracy. They want all the rich people to be in charge of everything, and everybody else just has to get told what to do and lump it if they don't like it. And like Ukraine, I don't think people are really into putting up with much more crap here, for sure. I know everybody's sick of hearing about a bunch of people getting shot up every day, although I honestly, the only solution that I can see is that nobody has guns. Just no one. Take them away. Unless you're in the army and you're going to war somewhere, then no one should have a gun, because I don't care the excuse. None of it has stopped people from getting killed, so I don't care. I don't want to hear it. No guns. And the Ukrainians were just trying to live, but then what they had to do, they had to get guns to get people to leave them alone. And that seems kind of dark to me, but, maybe burning off all of the years or centuries of, this other country just leaning on you all the time, you're ready to shrug that off. Get off me. I get it. And I think that is a treasure out of darkness. They got the wherewithal and the guts to. They probably have the guts. They just need the wherewithal to defend against this. And they have been. It's been a constant struggle even before there was a war. Soldiers moving into their territory and being threatening, and the stuff that they were telling them. Look it up. They were lame. They were just being really dumb. Okay. I think I have covered what I wanted to say.